All right, my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about the LG 39-inch ultra-wide monitor that I just bought for the channel 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks now, and I have had the opportunity to play multiple games on here. I've tested a bunch of stuff. I've been able to use like virtual super resolution on here. I've been able to dial in the HDR, get that up and going, really play around with that. Um, I haven't really went out and tested a whole lot of 4080 Super on here. Most of my testing has been 7900 XT. And I'll tell you guys something. There's just something magical about having an ultra wide monitor paired with my 7900 XT. Now, as you know, if you've been at this channel for a while, you guys know I'm pretty partial to 1440p. Like I'm perfectly okay with that. I think 1440p is not only just an acceptable resolution for gaming and high-end gaming, but more of a, I would say right now that 1440p is probably the standard in gaming that offers you the perfect balance of visual quality as well as performance at a reasonable entry point at like your GPU levels. You can easily, be running like a 7800 XT level GPU, 4070 Super. Obviously, you can be running something around that price range and do really good. I say those GPUs put you at a good, like you're good. Like generally, you would normally be happy at that resolution, at that performance level. If you go, anything lower than that, like 7600 XT, 4060 Ti or whatever, some those type level of entry level GPUs, obviously you're going to be sometimes you're going to be able to do really good 1440p. I mean, you can even do some 4K with those cards. So either way, I mean, like you can do really good 1440p, but then there's also the possibility that you might be, looking more wavering around a 1080p overall experience with those GPUs. That's what they are designed for. They're that entry level GPU, but you can usually push those pretty decently at 1440p. Obviously, you're going to be using, your DLSS, your FSR, all of your upscalers and stuff like that. So now that we've done the little history lesson or whatever with all the GPUs and stuff, and there's a reason why I usually only talk about like current gen GPUs, like the 40 series, the 7000 series, stuff like that. I just believe that that's where if you're coming into PC, uh, that's where you're going to be. You're not going to usually go out of your way to try to find like older GPUs or older generation GPUs. I just think that most people are going to start in the current, at least the current card or marketplace that's out right now. Obviously you're getting pretty good sales. You're being able to find stuff like a 7900 XT for right around $700, which is a phenomenal price for that card. Obviously 7900 GRE, 4070 Super, stuff like that. I feel like that is the probably the best place to get in for PC gaming. I feel like that gives you the most bang for your buck up front. Really good price to performance ratio in that GPU space. You start trying to go higher GPU, you're going to start getting more price, less freaking performance. Um, and like the lower end GPUs are going to be definitely not going to provide the performance per dollar that you're looking for either. What is going on with this freaking TV? Gosh, you little moron. Every time I say, I'm not gonna say it because then it decides to listen to me. I'm gonna have to find a way to turn that off. But once you start getting in lower end or upper end, if you're getting into lower end, make sure you're getting a deal. Make sure you're getting the best deal that you can. Make sure you're paying the lowest price if it's just something to kind of hold you over. Definitely do your legwork. Find something that is going to fit a budget and put you in a position to where you're not overpaying for that type of an experience. And the same goes for the higher end stuff. Like right now, 7900 XT at $700 I feel is a pretty compelling price for that card, seeing as what I actually get out of this card on this monitor, this new monitor that I've bought. I am absolutely blown away. I would say that I'm well over 60 frames a second on a majority of games I play. And that's, you know, being conservative for the most part. But I'm blowing way past that. I'm blowing way past that. You know, usually up into like the hundreds range in a lot of the stuff that I'm playing. Most of what I've been testing lately, though, if you noticed on the channel, I just put up a Shadow of Mordor, or was it Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War video. I'm going back and I'm testing some of these older games just because I want to see how many of them actually have ultra wide support. Uh, because when you get into a game, and here's the reason why I'm absolutely head over heels in love with this monitor. Might actually get a second one for the sim rig. Is this is a very immersive experience. You go from your regular 16.9, and then you go to like 21.9. I would potentially consider like a super ultra wide, but I think ultra wide is actually perfect for me. Like when I'm sitting here, Sam, like right now, I'm about 3 feet away from the screen, and I'm looking at it, and like I could see the full thing, and the um, the depth of it, you know, or the height of it. So the height, then you get the width. Obviously the depth you got that 800R curvature that it's pretty decent. Like it it kind of like fits my peripheral vision and everything like pretty dang good. Like it's really good, man. Like I personally was on kind of on the fence. I was like, do I really want to do like an ultra wide experience, you know? I because I've tried it on the freaking on my TV. I've went into the settings. I've selected, you know, ultra wide and super ultra wide. I've even, you know, like on like Horizon Forbidden West or some of the other games, I've put it on there and it just chops off so much of your screen and it's just like this flat thing. I looked at that and I was like, gosh, I don't know if I like the way that looks. it it's never gonna look as good on that flat screen when you're cutting out and you're getting the black bars. It's never gonna look as good as it actually does on a border to border ultra wide monitor. Like it just doesn't, especially with that curve, guys. The curve I think really accentuates the overall experience to a point where you're just like, oh my gosh, like it absolutely adds depth and immersion to what you're doing. Now, I've been playing games since I was 5. I'm 43 years old now. That's like what, 38 years that I've been playing video games. And I have to say, this is probably the biggest in terms of just what it does for the overall experience. Ultra wide. Ultra wide is by far the biggest experience changing um, peripheral, not peripheral, addition to my gaming, you know, that I've ever done. I mean, PC was absolutely awesome, just going from you know, consoles to PC. But I think the thing that's probably had the biggest difference, and this is even above VR sim racing. This is just slightly above that. I love VR for sim racing. Don't get me wrong. As soon as the new adapter for PSVR 2 comes out next month, I'm definitely going to be grabbing that. We're going to be checking that out. But in terms of overall immersiveness, um, you know, because I play a lot of open world games, so the ultra wide actually gives me more screen real estate. So I don't. When I was playing the other day, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, not Valhalla, but Odyssey. You get to the coastline in Attica, and then you go up over the hill, and there's just like boom, there's Athens like sitting right there. And I think honestly, this is the experience that showed me that I was like, yeah, this is incredible. So I get up there and I look out and I can just see the whole valley and it just looks so good. There's like so much. I mean, obviously, you know, you're on PC, whatever, you know, obviously you can crank the visuals up and everything. And I'm just looking out there and I can just see everything and it just looks it looks so massive. And I'm like, gosh dang, man, like this really transforms the open world experience to a point where I'm like, this is cool. Like this is cool. This is better than 4K. Like 4K was pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, guys. 4K is pretty cool. Um, I would say this is HDR level. I would say honestly, guys, this is HDR level. To be completely honest with you, when HDR came to video games, that absolutely changed the landscape for me. That was bigger than 4K as well. So like this is easily on par with HDR for me in terms of the immersion that this has brought to gaming. I love. I mean, HDR on OLED. Yeah, I'll even do that because this is OLED. Like HDR on OLED is like, ooh man. Once you see these technologies in action, this is one of those ones, honestly, guys, hard to come back from. Really hard to come back from, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, VR would never have that, at least in terms of what VR is right now. VR could never do the like not right now. I mean, maybe later in the future, maybe VR gets to a point where it literally is a point where you're like, "Ooh, gosh, I can't go back to flat screen." Maybe it gets there, but I think, oh man, after going ultra wide curved, it would be really hard for me to want to actively play open world games on a flat screen again. Like it would. Sim racing probably too. Absolute, especially if I am third person chase cam. Yeah, that would be very hard for me to want to go back to a flat monitor for that. I just think that once you go curved, there really isn't. Yeah, I just don't think I could go back, guys. I don't. Like this is truly in one of those this is truly one of those moments in gaming for me that I'm like, oh man, it's amazing just how big of a difference a freaking monitor can make. So I'm updating my recommendations going forward. Um, my new recommendation is make sure you spend an equal amount on your monitor as you do for your GPU. I think that, I mean, obviously, give or take, whatever, like make sure your monitor matches the output that your GPU can handle as close as possible, the best you can. Do not, do not do not run a super expensive GPU on a cheap monitor. Now, I don't think that my other monitors, my 1440p monitors, are cheap. They were pretty expensive. They're like $500 monitors. Like rocking that with a 7800 XT or 4070 Super, absolutely incredible. Did a very good job. I think that those GPUs were very good on those monitors. Whereas on my C2, not as much. Obviously, they did okay on those, depending on the game. But I think those GPUs are a little bit more aimed toward that monitor class that I had. Yeah, this 39-inch monitor that I bought, this ultra wide, 1099 when I bought it, because of Joe Tippy Day Tip. I don't remember his name, but because Joe came to the comment section and said, "Hey man, they dropped it down to 899," I was able to get more money back. So 899 for this Jeep for this monitor. And yes, guys, yes, this is absolutely incredible. If you can get your hands, or if you can get your patty cakes on one of these new either the QD OLED or the OLEDs that are coming out from, obviously LG, from MSI, from Asus. There's a lot of them right now. They've all just like come out at like the same time. And some of these are really good, man. Like some of the Alienware and stuff. Like I was like, it was toss up for me. It was toss up between the MSI and the one I got, and the other, 4K. It's like a 4K LG monitor that does either 240 hertz at 4K or 480 at 1080p. That was something that I was absolutely looking at. I was really at the point where I was like, it was either this, or like the MSI ones, but I couldn't find the MSI, so I ended up just going with this. I actually went over to Best Buy. I wanted to look at all of them, and I saw this one, and it was sitting there playing Chorus. So I actually picked up a copy of Chorus just so I can play it here. And my gosh, my friends, yes, absolutely. Spend a good enough amount on your monitor to where it's got new enough features that it's going to pull you through. This one here does have the HDMI 2.1. So if you're rocking PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, you can plug those in. And yes, you get the full suite of um, feature set for both of those consoles. You can send it a 4K 120 FPS signal. It 100% handles that, and it will downsample to the 3840 by 1440p, which in that case, you can turn on full screen mode, or yeah, you can turn on ultra wide screen, and it'll kind of just stretch the image quality for you on those. But yes, it does give you the black bars, which actually looks pretty fine, not too bad. After doing that, it's literally a 32-inch monitor. It does have plenty of ports, plenty of jacks on here. It's got built-in RGB in the back, so you can get in there and change the colors and stuff. I actually got mine set to green. It looks really, really cool. I don't, yeah, man, like the OLED on this panel, it's got the matte screen that I guess I could understand, like if you're coming from like the TV, like the C2 that I got with the super ultra glossy screen, that like I'm sitting here right now and I can like see all the reflections from like my light and you know, just everything. Whereas on the monitor, I can't see any of that reflection stuff, and it just looks incredible. Inky blacks, beautiful looking contrast and all of that, nice bright vibrant colors. Yeah, I personally like that a lot more than I do having the reflective surface, but I get it. Like I do get it. I really do understand there. And yes, you can see a slightly muted like image quality slash muted, you know, color vibrancy type deal, you know, on the monitor, of course. Um, but it's not big enough to where it's distracting at all. At least in my opinion, when I'm looking at them side by side, and they are right next to each other side by side, um, I can't really, I don't really notice it to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, where it's like when you look at it, it's not like to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can absolutely notice that looks bad. I can't even tell that. I can't even tell that this is 1440p versus 4K. The image quality looks good enough to where I don't notice it. If anything, it just looks a little bit softer, but it still looks sharp. If that makes any sense. Like that's weird, but but it looks incredible, my friends. And yes, ultra wide is probably where you want to be if you're going to be getting a monitor. The size of the screen and everything absolutely just works. It's perfect. It's about the same width as my C2, so that there's nice if you're used to that width of like a 42 inch or even a 55 inch. It's pretty close to 55 inch, but a lot closer to the 42, maybe a 48, maybe closer to 48 as well. If you're used to that size, I think you'd fit right in with this. I think it would absolutely be perfect. And the screen. So here's the thing, guys. The screen size is large enough to where I could sit about 5 feet back from it, and that seems okay. That seems okay. That seems good. I don't have to squint or anything like that. I just get a decent image quality. So yes, I'm happy with that. So, all right, my friends, that's 2 weeks. I will come back and touch you up some more content. Obviously, as you can see in the videos, I'm starting to put out some ultra wide content. I'm recording it ultra wide and uploading it ultra wide, so you'll be able to, if you're on like a Samsung phone or a 21.9 screen, you could just swipe out and it'll give you that beautiful freaking rendition of all the content that I'm putting out lately. I just think it's incredible, guys. I think it's incredible. Do yourself a favor, watch some of these videos and see for yourself just what you think. If you think I'm being hyperbolic about it, man, if you guys think I'm being crazy, I'm actually in the honeymoon phase with this thing, dude. I absolutely love this monitor. I think it's incredible. You guys know I play a lot of open world games. I have tried some shooters and stuff like that on here. Like I said, overall, like open world games and racing games are by far my favorite two genres of games. And yes, they are incredible. I've been playing some Doom Eternal and some other stuff on here, and that absolutely 100% works, and it feels good. It's nice to play. So I think first person shooters are going to end up being okay on here. If it's not, you can always put it back to 16.9. Like I said, that gives you the 32-inch monitor size, which was already perfect for me. So yeah, I think I made a good choice. I think this is good if you are on the fence about ultra wide. I don't need I like it, guys, and I think you would too. I really do think you would like it. There's not enough cons to not be like, yeah, go ahead and get it. You know what I mean? There's not enough. I really did, have my doubts about it, and I was like, do I really want to pay that much for a monitor? And when you're looking at the prices of all of the monitors, they're all about the same. So you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a try. I got 2 weeks. If I'm not feeling it, then I can take it back. But yeah, then tomorrow's the last day for me to be able to make that decision. But yes, we're 100% keeping this. Like I said, I might actually get a second one for the sim rig. I'll maybe wait for those to come down a little bit, maybe or just get the 45-inch one for that. So I don't know. That's going to be a long time if I do that. Not anytime soon, but all right, my friends. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here doing this still after 3 years. So thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.